Jai Shri Shri Radha Giridhari, Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Shri Shri Gauni Tai, Jai Jagannath Subhadra Baladev, Jai Tulsi Devi Brinda Devi, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki, Jai. So, I've never ever taken notes to give a class before, so it's a whole new experience. So I must be jumping all over the place. But anyhow, today is a wonderful day. It is the appearance day of Lord Balaram. So reading from the notes from krishnaday.com, which goes into things quite nicely. For those who don't know, it's a half-day fast. It used to be a full-day fast until Tamal Krishna Maharaj once was in Christchurch visiting on Balaram's appearance day. And he asked what the program was. And we said, well, the program is, were you there? You were there, is fasting until moonlight. And he goes, who said? And we go, well, that's what we've been told, you know? So we just follow what we've been told. And he says, no, Balaram's appearance day. So the whole world was celebrating full day fast. And he said, no, Prabhupada specifically told him, Balaram is half day fast. And it's only Krishna that really puts us through the mill, isn't it, when you come to look at the austerities we have to do. I mean, even though there's a lot of compassion on Janmashtami, everyone likes the half-day fast instead of the moonlight fast. So it's actually stated here, one should avoid everything and only drink water. If difficulties arise due to age, parents, children are exempt. I'm exempt because I'm old. And if we can't follow, then you can have fruit. So who is Balaram? Who is he? Lord Balaram is the second body. They are both one and the same identity. The difference only from the form is Balaram, his bodily complexion is white, and he assists Krishna in his pastimes. Actually, I know all this stuff. But anyhow, because it's Krishna's birthday, and on our birthday, we like to be appreciated. Generally, if you're a normal living entity, you like at least someone to say happy birthday. So in the same mood, seeing that the deity is non-different from Krishna and the deity is non-different from Balaram, and Radha and Krishna in their dueling pastimes are non-different. If you go to Vrindavan, there's many places where dueling yatra was performed, and specifically at Radha Kund. And Radha Kund, there's 4 corners of Radha Kund, and in each area is a different dueling made of a different substance or a different tree. So there's like the mango tree and there's a kadamba tree. So at any particular time around Radha Kund, Krishna can perform dueling. The very famous one is when Krishna was going through the forests of Vrindavan, and then Lalita, she says to Krishna, or Radha says to Krishna, let's do dueling. So there was dueling appeared. And how did dueling appear? By the mercy of Brinda Devi, and as we're going to hear, Balaram. Actually, Balaram takes care of everything for Krishna's pleasure. Actually, in the material world and the spiritual world, everything is there and created just for Krishna's pleasure. So they hopped on the swing and they were swinging. And in those days, there was no sound system. So, and when you're in the middle of the forest, you're not carrying mridungas and kartals, so they clap. So around the swing, around the dueling, is the gopas are clapping, the gopis are clapping, and the cowherd boys are clapping, and it's creating an incredible atmosphere, incredible mood. So Radha and Krishna, they hop on the swing and they swing back and forth. And then Radharani, oh no, Lalita goes to Radharani. Let's do Rasalila. And Radharani says, you can't do Rasa Leela, this is Julan. And Lalita goes, where there's Krishna and Balaram, you can do anything. So she leaned over and says to Krishna, we're going to do Rasa Leela. And Krishna goes, have you heard the story? I'm just making it up. So anyhow, Krishna goes, you can't do Rasa Leela. This is Julan. And Radharani says, you can do anything. So then the swing, you got to see this in your mind. So the swing expands like a lotus. So just like a lotus opens and closes, so this Julan, the swinging, this is a natural Julan. This is actually trees, kadamba trees with branches forming a seed. So then everyone hops on and does Rasa Leela. And then at one point the swing is going so high, and Krishna's looking into the chest of Shyam, and Shyam's chest is like a mirror. So she starts to only see herself. So she starts to call out, hey Shyam, where's Shyam? She becomes enamored, in separation for Shyam. And then Shyam, he's looking at Radha and the neck around the chest, and it's also like a mirror. So Shyam's going, where's Radha? Where's Radha? And so the swing, the gopas and the cowboys, it was swinging up and down, and then it touched the branch of a kadamba tree. Radharani's back touched, and she came to consciousness again. She's, there's my Shyam. These are the. We don't have to imagine these things because they actually happen. So Balaram also is the one who basically creates the dhams. Balaram creates Sri Vrindavan Dham for Krishna's pleasure. So there's some aspects we should talk about here. Lord Balaram's attractive body, full of luster of youth, a fair complexion, the colour of crystal. He wears a blue garment and a garland of forest flowers. His handsome hair is tied in a graceful top knot. Splendid earrings adore his ears. His neck is splendidly decorated with garlands of flowers and spring jewels, splendid armlets and bracelet ornaments. Very strong arms. His feet are decorated with splendid jewel anklets. Lord Balaram's beauty enhances the earrings touching his cheeks. His face is decorated with tilak made of musk. His broad chest is ornamented with garlands of kunja. Balaram's voice is very grave. His arms are very long, touching his thighs. The splendor of Lord Balaram's transcendental form eclipses many millions of glittering rising moons, and the slightest scent of his boundless strength is significant to destroy many armies of demons. So, because when I was reading this morning, I was thinking, this is what we're meant to do, isn't it? Just like we glorify, so the same thing, we like to glorify Balaram on his birthday. So this explains what Balaram's features look like. And every aspect of his features is attractive, just like we might think someone's smile's attractive. And we might not look at their nose thinking, that's not very attractive, or he got big ears or small ears. But actually Krishna's, Balaram's body is perfect, and everything is pleasing, and everything draws the living entity into looking at his features. So Ram Leela, Balaram came as Lakshman. And as Lakshman, he was really chaste, as we know. He never saw the face of Sita, which is inconceivable, isn't it? The most beautiful of all personalities, Sita. But all he could see was the feet. He just meditated on. But then when you come to think of it, they must be really beautiful feet, isn't it? We might look at a foot or look at our own feet and go, oh, that's horrible, the toe's too big, or that one's too short. But actually, when you come to think of it, if Balaram or if Lakshman is just meditating on the feet and the toes and the toenails, like Krishna's toenails, and considered to be half moons, dancing. You know, they're actually dancing. So if I was looking at Dhamsetu's feet and I saw like dancing moons, you know, I'd go, "Wow, that's pretty attractive." And then you become absorbed. You'd go, "Well, I don't need to see anything else. That's enough to satisfy me." So in Sankirtan movement, it was Lord Nityananda, as we see, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Here he goes, he expands himself in many holy places of Braj Mandala. All Krishna's possessions like crowns, beads, ornaments, and other objects are all expansions of Balaram. So this is all Balaram. We're sitting on Balaram. This temple is Balaram. You know, the pictures, of course, of Balaram up there. You know, all Krishna's paraphernalia. Like Prabhupada says, we should never touch our feet to anything. You know, it's an offense because it's actually Balaram. So all what you see up there, all Krishna's jewelry, his crown, his flute, everything, have a look. It's all Balaram. How cool is that? So this is a very special aspect of Lord Balaram and of our Krishna conscious movement. So when we're looking at the paraphernalia and dressing, you know, putting the beads on Krishna, you go, this is Balaram. How cool is that? When Sachi Sudha is doing his Mangalarati, he picks up the chamra, he goes, this is Balaram. So once you hear that this is Balaram and you meditate on it, then you become more conscious, which we're supposed to be, isn't it? We're supposed to be more conscious of Krishna. Lord Balaram expands himself in unlimited and different forms. In Krishna's pastimes, he was Ananga Manjari, the most exquisitely beautiful gopi. Nice, huh? On the next page. And it's the colour of springtime. When does spring come after? Winter? You know, like now we're having these beautiful days and, you know, the jonquils are out and soon the blossoms are going to come out. So the colour of springtime. Yogamaya, she transformed from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, Balaram, which is also, when you meditate on it, this is what scientists are trying to do. They're trying to actually put a child within a womb without any sangha. And so this was happening way back then. Even there's one, Prabhupada says the yogis can create life in a test tube. And some yogis are so powerful by manipulating the material energy, Prabhupada says they can create life at the top of the pine tree. Because life is just a manipulation of elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And if you can play with those, you know, and grab them out of the air, then you can create something. So that within itself is pretty far out. And that was done because Kamsa was fearful that actually the prediction that Krishna or the 8th child was going to kill him, that Krishna could understand his anxiety. So to protect his brother, he moved him to the womb of Rohini, and then they were looked after by Nanda Maharaj and Gokul. So when you go to Vrindavan and enter Vrindavan, Vrindavan's like a lotus. It's like crossing that line. You know, when you're in the taxi and you're driving from Delhi to Vrindavan, you cross the line, and the taxi driver goes, "You're now entering Vrindavan." So you're entering and leaving Vrindavan, which is very mystical. So Lord Balaram, he's creating all that dham. He's creating the dham. And that's nice for us to meditate on because we're going to the dham soon, unless there's a stupid lockdown or the plane stopped flying. But Vrindavan, here we come. So when you hear about it and you hear that it's a lotus, it can close and it can open. And then as you're going along, then you start to see the signs. I think the first sign you see is Govardhan and Radhakund and Shamakund. And then as you get closer, you see other signs. And when you see those signs, you become more and more excited. You go, God, I made it. Now, for the transcendentalist, he's seeing Krishna everywhere. He's always in Vrindavan. Like Srila Prabhupada says, I never left Vrindavan. I'm always in Vrindavan. But it's like we have to go to Vrindavan to appreciate that. And then going to Vrindavan and appreciating Vrindavan, then we can come back to the West and doing our service. It's not hard to think of Vrindavan. Just like, even though they're not Brinda Devi's parrots, we have parrots on the farm, isn't it? And sometimes when you're driving down the road, they chase you. So how can you not think of Vrindavan? How can you not think of Radha? How can you not think of Brinda Devi's parrots, which are greenish and they're flickering everywhere? And what are they telling Brinda Devi? They're telling Brinda Devi, watch out, it's Kartik. You got all this mischievous devotees coming from the West, so be prepared for anything. But it doesn't matter, because most of the time they spend their time in Lloyd Bazaar, so you really don't have to worry about too much. And generally, as a new devotee, that's where most of the time spent. Not so much now, because there's many wonderful devotees that can take devotees to different places. You have Indaduna Maharaj and his tour, which goes for the whole Kartik, where they go to different holy places, and there's beautiful kirtans and beautiful pastimes. And then there's, who's the other famous one? And there's Govardhan Treat, where you can actually go to Govardhan for a week. And then there's Satchinandana's Japa Retreat and Burijan. And then there's Dinabandhu, the famous Dinabandhu. He'll take you, and he knows all these places by memory. Actually, when you do Braj Mandala, people go, where's our son Dinabandhu? And Dinabandhu can speak, he can speak Brijbasi. And we asked him, how did you learn to speak Brijbasi? Because after doing Govardhan Parikrama 100 times, and then going from village to village, when he would go to the village, he would ask the local people, what's this? What's that? And Brijbasi. So he actually knows Brijbasi language. So everyone in ISKCON and everyone in Vrindavan knows Dinabandhu, and they seek out Dinabandhu. Where are you going today, Dinabandhu? Where are you going? But you got to be prepared, because a 5-hour walk around Govardhan can turn into a 12-hour walk because everywhere there's all these pastimes. So as soon as Dinabandhu, even though he's got a schedule, spontaneously he'll stop, and 3/4 of an hour you move on. So always be prepared. Even when we used to go at night time, you go at night time in the beginning of Kartik, on the full moon night, you walk around. It's really beautiful. You basically start about 11 o'clock. Have you done it yet? Anyhow, we'll do it when we go next time. So you walk around Govardhan with the full moon, no torch, no lights, or no nothing. And if you know the tracks, then you can go right into Govardhan. Usually people stick to the road because there's lights. But if you're really game and daring and ready to run from the dacoits, you can go inwards. And when you go inwards, it's just you and Govardhan. There's you and the full moon, or whoever you're traveling with. So you have to experience that once in your lifetime. And that finishes at about maybe 2 a.m. But if you go with Dinabandhu, goes all night. He starts early and he just gets absorbed in Krishna's pastimes. So that's Krishna's bodily hue, and there's different pastimes that's mentioned here. Balaram slays Dhanukasura, and that was the forest, Halavan forest, isn't it? Where they had all the beautiful fruits and flowers, but the cowherd boys, they couldn't enjoy it because it was the great demon. Dhanukasura was there, and he wouldn't let anyone in. And it's amazing how many demons were around, isn't it? It's amazing how many demons that were actually, this is just Balaram, and Balaram's, demons that he's fighting. So anyhow, Balaram told the kids, don't worry, let's go in. And he went in there, and Balaram was shaking the trees and all the fruit and the flowers, and everyone was like enjoying, the children, the gopas and the cows, everyone was enjoying. Dhanukasura turns up and there's a big battle. Balaram gives him a good old wacko and he's finished. A lot of these demons, even though they were so powerful, they were finished really quickly by Krishna. And then there was Pralambasura, a demon named Pralanda, he was there. Then there's Jamuna, and all the devotees like the pastimes of Jamuna because they feel that there's a real strong reciprocation with Balaram. So the story where Krishna came from Dwarka and he was intoxicated, he came together. He has his own gopis. He doesn't have Krishna's gopis. So he has a whole set of new gopis. We know when Krishna Leela is Lalita, Vishaka, Champakalata, Indraleka, Sri Chitra, Sri Rangadevi, Sri Sudevi, Sri Tungavidya. So we know that these are the principal gopis of Krishna. That's what you chant on the 8 beads before the Krishna bead. That's what they are, the 8 principal gopis. And when you're sober in mind and peaceful, and when you're chanting and you come to that little tie, then you can meditate on Lalita, Vishaka, Champakalata. So much meditation can be there just on japa. One can chant japa by just listening to the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And one can meditate that's Nama Shantamani Krishna. Everything's contained within that name. Sometimes in a peaceful mind and a peaceful heart, you can think of pastimes. You can think of Vrindavan, you can think of pastimes. So that's a pastime that the devotee relates to the most, isn't it? We don't have a feast tonight and we call it the Pralambasura feast, do we? Tonight's feast is not going to be called, whatever feast. No, we relate it to the Varuni, isn't it? So Krishna's intoxicated. Prabhupada says everything's in this movement. Everything, even intoxication. So this is a special day for the devotees, and I know the children, they love it. They always come up, I had 5 cups of Varuni, I had 6 cups of Varuni. And the good thing about this Varuni is, it doesn't matter how much you drink, you always feel better the next day, isn't it? When you take kami intoxication, drink beer, get stoned, or take some other substance, the next days are usually hellish. But when you have buckets full of Varuni juice, the next day it's like a health tonic. I've never woken up after a Balaram's appearance day, after drinking Varuni, feeling wiped out. Usually I'm going, wow, should drink this every day. Maybe this is the drink that everyone's hankering for. Instead of carrot juice and orange juice, actually every day we should just have Varuni. Because it's got yogurt in it, and it's got honey in it, it's got saffron in it, it's got maybe milk powder in it. If I'm making, it's got condensed milk in it. It's got evaporated milk in it. So that's a lot of milk, isn't it? That's a lot of a really big heavy shot of Krishna's mercy. So as you all know, all the stories, so he came from Dwarka, he was, enjoying, and then he wanted to go to the Jamuna and bathe in the Jamuna. So like Krishna, he would perform many pastimes in the Jamuna, isn't it? They would do Holi festival in the Jamuna. So also Balaram, he wanted to bathe in the Jamuna, and basically sporting pastimes they were called. But Jamuna could see he was intoxicated. So like any intelligent woman, she's going to go, forget it. You're intoxicated. But being a transcendental pastime, Krishna says, if you don't come, then I'm going to drag you. And he has the plow. And he started to pull Jamuna, and different little rivulets appeared. And then Jamuna thought, boy, I'm really going to get it if I don't appear. So she appeared to Balaram. And of course, sorry, Balaram. I was just a little scared that you're intoxicated. And then they went on their happy pastimes. So also there's times when Balaram didn't agree with Krishna. When there was the great fight between Bhima and the Balaka, etc. Duryodhana. And then Krishna, he was the teacher of both. So he basically expressed his mood to Krishna and says, I don't agree with this. So he just took off. I'm out of here. So even they have disagreements, isn't it? Disagreements are all right. It's called unity and diversity. Prabhupada wanted us to establish. Difference of opinions are there, but not giving up Krishna, who's the pinnacle. Don't give up your service. Don't give up worship of Krishna just because someone else has a different opinion. So going to Vrindavan, then he performed those different pastimes. So it is said by Srila Prabhupada, Lord Balaram is the original spiritual master of all, and anyone desiring to make spiritual progress must first get the mercy of Balaram. So Balaram is the original guru. Actually, I was thinking sometimes I'm thinking when I'm leading Mangalartik in the morning, which is an incredible meditation, I'm thinking I'm only here due to the mercy of Balaram. I've got basically no qualification whatsoever, but by the mercy of Balaram, he's allowing me. I'm not thinking, no, I'm coming, isn't it? Or it's due to my whatever. You start to think only by the mercy. So not only that, just seeing the deity, dressing the deity, and actually serving the deity, pushing on the Sankirtan movement, glorifying Nuvashan. It's all mercy. So if one's can do these activities, then one should feel, I'm actually getting the mercy of Balaram, which is pretty cool. And if I'm not, then I should pray to Balaram. Please, Balaram, I'm having these difficulties and maybe rising early or rising late or not doing enough service or maybe doing too much service, which is a real thing. So we can pray to Balaram because this is all, he's the original spiritual master and he's the strongest of the strong. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who's assumed the form of Lord Balaram, the year of the plough, all glories to you. On your brilliant white body, you wear garments of colour, of blue that flash like rain clouds. The garments are coloured like the beautiful dark hue of the river Jamuna, who feels great fear due to you striking your plough. So Lord Balaram is the first personal expansion of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. All other expansions are from him. In Lord Krishna's pastime, he plays Krishna's elder brother. Together, Krishna and Balaram enact many pastimes as cowherd boys in the land of Vrindavan. Lord Balaram carries a plough, a club, and is known for his strength. I remember a few years ago, we came to one village in Mayapur, so they had one of those ploughs, and the local village boy, man, he puts that plough on his shoulder and he carries it from the village to the paddock. It's a big plough, the plough's from me to you, just a stick, and it has this big hook on it. And so I was thinking, I'm going to put the plough on my shoulder. Someone take a photo, which they did. So when I put it on my shoulder, it was so heavy. It was like unbelievably heavy that actually I told them, after the photo, he says, "Oh, take this plough off me. I think it's breaking my shoulder." And here's this village gentleman, most probably 120 years old, and he's been doing it his whole life. And he picks up that plough every morning, goes to the field, hooks it on the bullocks, ploughs the fields, and then takes that plough home. And I was thinking, he's got the mercy of Balaram. It was so powerful. And these Mayapur, isn't it? The village people are not big, they're small, isn't it? Like you. And they don't actually get any bigger than, do they? They, you know, and in the village they get a certain height. You don't see like tall Bengalis, do you? So really strong. So and in seeing those ploughs, you think of Krishna, you think of Balaram. Seeing the bullets doing the plough, you think of Balaram. Seeing the plough, you think of Balaram. So usually we say on this day, isn't it? Usually we say on this day, the appearance of the Supreme Lord, on this day, the appearance of Radharani, on this day, the appearance of Lord Ramachandra, on this day, the appearance of Balaram. We should pray more on this day. But as devotees, we should pray every day. Why not just leave it to one day? Why not think about beautiful Krishna's and Balaram's beautiful form and their beautiful pastimes, like up here, Krishna and Balaram running through the groves of Vrindavan, you know, tending the cows, fighting with the demons. And these are pastimes that happened every day. So there was more than enough demons to go around. There was more than enough demons, both for Krishna and for Balaram. And in the old days, demons were on different planets. Then they were in different countries. And now in the Sage of Kali Yuga, they're in the same body. So once we were demoniac, we were eating the cow. I presume you didn't. You're vegetarian. You're vegetarian your whole life? You used to eat meat? Oh my God. So once upon a time we were demoniac, isn't it? We would eat the very thing which is most dear to Krishna. What? Go Brahmanya. Before the Brahman is the cow. So did you eat the cow? Okay, fish? Oh, chicken and fish. Bengali diet. You see the fisher people, they're fishing, isn't it? And they catch the little fish and put them in their pocket. Then their wife comes at lunchtime and gets the fish, takes them home, and they put them in the rice. And you can't cut its head off or anything because it's so small. So they just cook it with the rice and eat it. Also, the Brahmanas from Puri. So once we were demoniac, we were actually eating and killing the most dearest thing to Krishna, that which is unbelievable. But now we've given that up. And why have we given it up? Out of love for Krishna, out of love for Balaram, out of love for our spiritual master. We've basically given up all these demonic activities. And even though they're still there, the tendencies are there, we've replaced them with spiritual activities. So instead of hating Krishna, now we're loving Krishna. And what do I mean by hating Krishna? When you don't like somebody, you do something harmful. Like I'm sitting here and you go, I don't like Kala, so you go out and smash my window, look my tires down, you know, steal my beads, steal my iPhones, because, I hate him so much, isn't it? So when you don't, so there was one point in time where we just didn't like Krishna. And we didn't like it so much that we ate the very thing which was the most dear to him. So I'm glad you're a vegetarian now. So both the demon and the devotee exist in the same body. And that's why we have to be very careful, because sometimes the demon can come out, isn't it? The demoniac can come out. So we have to be very careful and not to commit, apparats, especially to Guru, because then all hell breaks. So I'll finish there. So that's just a little few things about Balaram. He's white in complexion. He was transferred to the womb of Rohini. He is, he manifests all the jewelry, all the ornaments, everything for the pleasure of Krishna. Actually, he only has one thing in mind, Krishna's pleasure. So we say not just today, we say every day. Every day is a great day for a devotee. So every day is a great day to think of Balaram. And we're praying to Balaram also in the Sankirtan movement as Nityananda. We're praying to Balaram as the original guru. So Prabhupada is also in a line into succession. They're all coming from the original Adi Guru. So we hope Balaram's had some pleasure this morning on hearing about himself. Krishna gets great pleasure in seeing himself, isn't it? If you stand where I stand in the morning, maybe on this side, and you look in the granite, you can see the reflection. You can see what's up is under. I try to take photos, but I just can't capture it. So sometimes Krishna would come into the temple room like this, like I can see your reflection, and he would look in and see himself and go, who's that? Who's that wonderful person? So Krishna doesn't need anybody. Krishna is self-satisfied, but he expands, because when there's more devotees, it increases. One devotee is nice, but when there's more devotees, the nectar increases. So Krishna expands, and there's many expansions, and there's many living entities. So we're all here for one reason only, and that is to please Krishna. And when we spend our time pleasing Krishna, we become very satisfied, isn't it? We become incredibly satisfied. Like I've explained before, I don't think there's one day that I don't go home and thank Krishna and thank Prabhupada. I wake up in the morning and I thank Prabhupada. Thanks for allowing me to wake up in time. I don't do it often, but every now and again I do it. And then at the end of the day, I thank Prabhupada and Krishna. Thank you for allowing me to do some service, some wonderful service. And how can you think like that? It's because when the heart and the mind becomes peaceful, then it's so easy to think of Krishna. So Prabhupada had a saying, work now, samadhi later. I mean, Tamal used to tell us that all the time. Work hard now, Kala, and samadhi later. If you found out, oh, I'm going to go and live. No, you're not. Work hard. Work hard now. Vrindavan, when you're about to die, one day before. But until that time, that's what we do. If you work hard for Krishna, work hard, then Krishna reciprocates. So we want to be working. So at any particular time, and there's so much service to do. It's unlimited service to do, isn't it? Unlimited. We could have a roster of cleaning the temple every hour, isn't it? Not just once a day or once a week, once an hour, and then once every half an hour, then once every 5 minutes, then once every minute. We can have a roster like the gopis in the spiritual world. They're always cleaning. And there's always dirt. There's always dust, isn't it? After you clean your house, you feel it. I've got one of those little robot ones. So I turn it up and it shoots around the place. And if I don't do it for a while, even that's covered in dust. And I go, wow, when that's covered in dust, there's a lot more dust around. And sometimes you can't see dust till the sun comes up. Like in this temple, there's mostly spider webs here, but you can't see it until the sun's there. We can't see them now, but actually as the sun moves, we begin to see them. So as we chant Hare Krishna, we're praying to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, we're praying for an hour and a half to 2 hours every morning. Oh, Krishna, oh, Radharani, please engage me in your devotional service. So if you don't want to serve, stop chanting. If I came to you, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I clean the floor? And they go, no, I don't do that. See, like if you turn around now, Sachi, and look at the floor out there, see the dust. I can see the dust and you can imagine there's lots of dust because we've got earth movers, people that move earth. So when the doors come in, all the dust comes in here. So this Chaito Parpana Marjana, we are very, in an amazing situation. We've waited so long to be here, isn't it? So long we've waited to be in this situation. So now we're in this situation, don't waste it. So Lord Balaram ki, Krishna Balaram ki, Gaur Premananda, Hari Hari Gaur. I have to say one thing this morning. It's pretty weird being over the side when you greet the deities as a male. Did you notice that? We're so conditioned to actually lining up on that side and the ladies on that side. So this morning, the ladies were on that side and the men were on this side. So it's amazing, the difference. I'm not in a woman's body, so I don't know what they're feeling, but being conditioned to standing on one side, I was thinking, boy, this is weird. And why is it weird? Because of conditioning. We become conditioned, but that condition's good, that you want to be on that side to actually greet the deity. So anyhow, I thought I'd throw that in for the ladies. So I don't know what you guys experience, but you can always cross over. You can always stand at the back or sometimes stand on the back and pay your obeisances that way. There's no hard and fast rules. So thank you very much. Have a pleasant day. Have a pleasant Balaram day. And we'll all get together tonight for some more kirtan and a wonderful feast, wonderful Varuni, wonderful swing the deities again. And when you're swinging the deities, you can meditate on those pastimes, that this is going on continuously in Vrindavan. Many places they're doing this dueling. So by hearing about it, and what we're doing is something you don't even get to do in the spiritual world. Like I was discussing, and I brought this up before, I was talking to David Rita Maharaj and said, in the material world, which is not really the material world, I can dress Radharani. I can't do that in the spiritual world. And he goes, yeah, that's a pretty incredible realization. That actually here, I can dress Radha, but in the spiritual world, I can't dress Radha. She's got her crew, that are helping her dress and so on and so forth. So, and here we're getting to swing Radha and Krishna, which is non-different from Jewel and Vrindavan. So the mercy which is bestowed upon the devotee in this ISKCON movement is incredible. It's incredible the opportunities that we get to do and get to experience. So it's mystical, it's magical, and it's wonderful, and that's Krishna consciousness. And it's 8:30 and time to go to work. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.